Okay, so we're going to start today. I'm going to build the false wall. So you can see I made a mark all the way across there. That's where the wall's going to go. I know you're thinking, oh well, the whole access hole's too big, but actually it was at first, but now I think about it, I actually like the idea, because this way I'll just put another brace across there, cut the door down, but that way that little filler piece, I'll make it so it can, you know, again with only 2 screws, so it can come in and out, and that way you have an access, pretty easy access panel that you can do what you need with it for wiring, because you're going to have the box, the speaker wires for the box, plus I'm planning on mounting the 360 up in here, I think, since the trunk opening bows out, and the false wall is going to be straight across. I mount the 360 right in the middle. That will put it out, and then I'll just, because I want it a built-in look, I'll just taper it off with fiberglass, you know, stretch fleece out and taper it off so it kind of matches that bow a little bit. It will. And then on the bottom, maybe do a little bit of a design. I don't know if I want to, you know, come down like in a circle or a hard point and up. You know, I'll look at, you know, whatever I feel like at that time. But I think that would give it a little bit of, you know, something different. And then the 360 will go in it. And then all the wires can run down behind the false wall. And then out to, I'm pretty sure I'm going to mount the amps on the side panels. Actually behind the side panels, and have a hole, access hole that you can, like a view hole that you look in and see the amps. So this is what I'm going to be using for the false wall. What it is 1/2 inch furniture grade plywood. I wanted to show you guys this little carpenter's trick. Ordinarily it would be great to be able to cut this with a table saw to make a nice straight line, but unfortunately my table saw is just a portable, so the fence doesn't go that far. You know, it's only a 12-inch fence, so, and this is 16 3/4. So what you do is you get a measurement from the outside edge to the inside edge of your saw blade, and then you just basically measure back and clamp a straight edge down. Now I'm using a 4-foot level, but you can use anything that's perfectly straight and that won't flex, of course, and then you just clamp it down. And then what this does, then you just ride this part of your saw against that, and it works as a fence, and you have a perfectly straight line every time. It works on as far as the other side too. You could do it off the other side, doesn't matter. I'm doing it off of this side because I'm using a level, and that way I have clearance for the motor. So, okay, so now we got to cut. What we're going to do is we're going to mark for the hinges on both sides. You can see you got wiring and stuff coming down on this side, so you want to give plenty of room. I'm going to go kind of here. And here. That's one hinge. This side, do the same thing. Make sure you give room so that way it will close properly. And probably right there. Okay, now that's done. There's 2 ways of doing the next part, which is how deep you want to go. I love working by myself here, but as you can see how much it drops down. You can tell these are really bad for this. And so what you're going to have to do is actually get inside, shut it, measure down, and go accordingly. It's going to be a lot. There's going to be big holes there, really, but I do have a couple ways to hide it or make it look better, so I'll deal with that when it comes and let you guys know. So this is what we have. have it all cut out. I had to do a little bit of notching. Probably easier to show you on this side. A little bit of notching and cutting to get it fit in there. That's not exactly perfect, but it's you won't see it from up top. This is what we have. So now, what I'm going to do is for these side panels, these are going to be built. I'm going to put a little bit of a flap on the side, or whatever you want to call it, and then build off that and just build the side panel. Okay, so then what next step, I got to build something so I can mount the amp to. Side panel is going to go over top of the amp, a hole cut out. You'll see it's more in detail more than that, but I'll give you the basics. Same as the 360 here. What I'm going to plan on doing is the 360 I want to mount in behind this. So I'm going to basically cut out the hole, bring it through, and then screw it in from the back side like this, and have the fiberglass. So, because I don't want to make this fiberglass piece that I make up removable. This way I can get the 360 out, work on it, slide it back in, put screws in it. To me, I think it's going to be the best way. So now all I got to do is make a point to mount that, somewhere to mount that up top. The bottom, I'm going to just use 1/4 inch wooden dials. So you slide it, just stick it in there, slide it in, rock the top up. So that's it. Okay, so it's all in there, fastened in there. I mounted blocks up top to screw into, and put the dials in the bottom. I'll demonstrate. As you can see, I mean, it ain't going nowhere. I mean, yeah, it's not solid, but definitely ain't going nowhere. And then just these 2 screws. Like that. Leans forward. Boom. Slides right out. There's the dial there, there's the dial there, and put it back on, same thing, just like that. Yeah, real simple. What I'm going to do up here, instead of having screws like this, probably what I'm going to do is put bolts in to the back, and them little plastic like knobs, you know, basically any kind of plastic knob that looks nice, and then that just screws on. So then it'll, you know, when it's wrapped in vinyl, it'll look nice. But other than that, there we have it. As far as the gap up there, I don't think I'm going to fill it, because if you look, you know, here's eye level when you're looking in, and yeah, you know, I mean, it doesn't need it. I think if I just take my time, wrap everything else, it'll look nice. Now, as far as these, like I said, there's a trick. What I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap them in vinyl. This whole back is getting wrapped in vinyl. And I know West Coast guys are going to be going, what? But ice scrapers, you know, for your windows, most of them always have that side that has a little brush on it. So what I'm going to do is buy a couple cheap ice scrapers and cut them up, and just take the brush, mount them on the back here, so then you have them little plastic brushes that stick out there, and boom, hides that, and yet it doesn't interfere with anything as far as closing. Okay, so what I did here is, as you can see, just mounted a piece of plywood back there. That's what I'm going to mount the amp to, and then we're going to just build a, you know, panel to go over the top of the front of it. But show you here how we gonna do that is I'm building a framework, as you can see, around the amp. And what I'm gonna do with this is it's gonna get sat in there, and this is gonna be the framework that I'm gonna staple the fleece to. Okay, and then build a framework out around the rest. So therefore it'll all be fiberglass into the amp here, and then when you look in, that's what you're going to see. You're going to see that amp there. Once I get all that done, get everything done, get this amp mounted in there where I want it. Here we go, we got it all finished, both of them. As you can see, I dated out the all around the edge, and that's so I can run my fleece, staple it along this edge, and when I get the fiberglass on it, it will be pretty much flush then. The only thing I have left to do yet is cut out on the bottom here for the wiring to be able to pass through. I'll do that once this dries. I'm gonna let it dry. I just have it stapled like that, just for to wait for the glue to set up. And I would have actually took video of this because the wife is out and about, but the only thing she's capable is standing there telling me how I'm doing it wrong.
Shut up.
So, all you guys out there who are married know what I'm talking about. So this is how it's going to look in the side. This is the way I've decided to do it. So the amp's going to sit in there. And then, what else I got to do yet is build the framework to go around in here, up in there, and then come up around here to hide it all. So here we got it with the framework done. As you can see, it's not thick wood. It's just 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch blocks, and some are even thinner. Using that glue, the thick super glue with a spray the activator spray, just made it up real quick. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually strengthen them. Every gap, put a little more glue on it. That's just one side. I got to do the other side yet, which I probably won't do this weekend. I feel beat, and I did get a lot done. I got this done and everything else. You know, the false wall done. These little frameworks here, they took a while to make up. So. Don't know what time it is, but it's getting late, so I think this is where I'm going to end. I'll start working on the rest of this. I can get a lot of this done without the car. So, and if I get this side done, the other side, you know, is going to go a lot easier making the framework because now I know what I'm doing. I mean, it's just I spent a lot of time on this side figuring out how I want to do it. I'm doing a amp on the angle because that's the best way it fits. And the wife wants them on an angle, so there we have it. Here's the framework inside the car. Works good. Just pulls out, boom, just like that. Goes back in, pretty much the same. Okay, I was able to mount it, the amp in there, and yeah, it does come on and off without having to move the amp, so it's all good. It fits perfect, it looks perfect, it's how I want it. Now just wrap it in fleece and it's ready to go. Now here it is with the fleece stretched on it. I just wanted to make sure it fits before I put the fiberglass on, and it does. It went in, not much of a problem, so